Hello crocheting friends, I'm taking a little break from making scarves and today I want to make this cute little baby beanie. The size is newborn. I will be using about 50 yards of Beehive Baby Sport yarn by Paton and a hook size F 3.75 millimeters. The finished measurements of my hat will be about 11 inches in circumference and 5 inches in height. The free written pattern for this hat is available on my website olgapoltava.com and I will give the link in the description box below. I start with 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I make a slip stitch into the very first chain. So basically I join my chain into a ring using a slip stitch. Now, if you are an advanced crocheter, I recommend using a magic ring instead of these 5 chains, as it will look slightly better. But because I want to make this tutorial beginners friendly, I started with 5 chains as I don't want to complicate things too much. And now I'm ready to start my first round. I make 3 chains, 1, 2, 3. And these 3 chains will count as my first double crochet. But again, if you are an advanced crocheter, I recommend using a chainless double crochet instead of these 3 starting chains, as it will look slightly better. But again, because I'm making my video beginners friendly, I want to keep things simple, and that's why I will be using 3 chains instead of a chainless double crochet. And now I make 11 double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here I made 11 double crochets into the ring and I joined the round with a slip stitch into the top chain of the beginning chain 3 right here. So remember that my 3 chains counted as the first double crochet and I made 11 double crochets into the ring. So the total stitch count at the end of this round is 12 double crochets. Round 2, I make 3 chains, 1, 2, 3. And again, these 3 chains count as my first double crochet. Then into the same stitch where I joined the previous round, I make a double crochet. And into the next double crochet, I make 2 double crochets. 1, 2. And again, into the next double crochet, I make 2 double crochets. And I will continue crocheting this way until the end of this round, basically making 2 double crochets into each double crochet of the previous round. Here I am at the end of this round, and again I join it with a slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 3. And in this round my stitch count is 24 double crochets. I start round 3 with 3 chains, and into the same space as joining I make a double crochet. Then into the next double crochet I make 1 double crochet. And now I begin to repeat the pattern. Into the next double crochet I make 2 double crochets, 1, 2, and into the next double crochet I make 1 double crochet. Then again 2 double crochets into the next double crochet, 1, 2, and 1 double crochet into the next double crochet, and I continue this way until the end of this round. And I join the round with a slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the beginning chain 3, and the stitch count at the end of this round is 36 double crochets. I start my next round with 3 chains like before, and these 3 chains count as my first double crochet, and into the same stitch as joining I make another double crochet. So this counts as 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Now I will make a double crochet in each of the next 2 double crochets. 1 double crochet, and then into the next one also 1 double crochet. And now the pattern will repeat. Into the next double crochet I will make 2 double crochets. 1, 2, then 1 double crochet into the next double crochet, and 1 double crochet into the next double crochet. Now again 2 double crochets into the next double crochet. 1, 2, and 1 double crochet into the next 2 double crochets. 1, 2. So the pattern here goes 2 double crochets, 1, 1, 2 double crochets, 1, 1, 2 double crochets, 1, 1, and I continue crocheting this way until the end of this round. And again I join the round with a slip stitch, and the stitch count at the end of this round is 48 double crochets. And at this point I should check my gauge, which should be close to 3.5 inches. And of course, if you are using different yarn, a bit heavier yarn, and your gauge is bigger, that means that your head will come out in size a little bit bigger than newborn. I'm now ready to start round 5, and this is the fun part begins, because this is where we begin to make the lacy part of the head. So we start with chain 1 and a single crochet into the same stitch as joining. Then I make 2 chains, 1, 2, and I skip next 2 double crochets, and into the next double crochet I make a double crochet, 2 chains, 1, 2, and into the same double crochet another double crochet, then 2 chains, and I skip the next 2 double crochets. And now the pattern begins to repeat. Into the next double crochet I make a single crochet, 2 chains, I skip the next 2 double crochets, and into the next double crochet I make a double crochet, 2 chains, 1, 2, and another double crochet. Then again 2 chains, 1, 2, I skip 2 double crochets and make a single crochet into the next double crochet. And again the pattern repeats. 2 chains, skip 2 double crochets, a double crochet, 2 chains, and a double crochet into the same double crochet, 2 chains, skip the next 2 double crochet, a single crochet into the next double crochet, and I continue crocheting this way until the end of this row. I end this round with 2 chains, I skip 2 double crochets, and I join the round with a slip stitch into the first single crochet. Round 6. I need to slip stitch into the space in between these 2 double crochets. So I make my slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, and into the chain space. Next I make 2 chains, 1, 2, and into the same chain 2 space I make 2 double crochets finished together. First double crochet and the second double crochet, and I finish them all together. Now this stitch will count as my first 3 double crochet together. Then I make 2 chains, 1, 2, and into the same space I will make 3 double crochets finished together. 1, 2, 3, and I finish them all together. Now again 2 chains, 1, 2, and into the same chain 2 space I make another 3 double crochets finished together. 2, 3. Now I make 1 chain, and I'm going to skip this chain 2 spaces and into the chain 2 space in between the next 2 double crochets. Again, I work 3 double crochets finished together. 1, 2, 3. I finish them all together. Then 2 chains, 1, 2, and 3 more double crochets finished together into the same chain space. 2, 3. And again 2 chains, 1, 2, and the third 3 double crochets finished together. 2, 3. So basically I work 3 clusters separated with 2 chains. Now chain 1, I skip these spaces, and into the space between 2 double crochets, again I work a cluster. 1, 2, 3, 2 chains, 1, 2, another cluster, 1, 2, 3, again 2 chains, and a third cluster, 1, 2, 3. Then again chain 1, and I will work my clusters in space in between the next 2 double crochets, and I will continue crocheting this way until the end of this round. Here I made the last group of 3 double crochet clusters, but instead of making 1 chain here, I'm going to join with a half double crochet into the top of the very first cluster, like this. So this created this small space over here, which counts as a chain, but this brought the hook and the yarn in position for the next round. Round 7. I start with 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these 4 chains will count as my first double crochet and 1 chain. Then I make a double crochet into the next chain 2 space. Then 1 chain, and again I make a double crochet into the next chain 2 space. Then 1 chain, and I make a double crochet into the next chain 1 space. And here the pattern repeats: 1 chain and a double crochet into the next chain 2 space. Then 1 chain and a double crochet into the next chain 2 space. Then 1 chain and a double crochet into the next chain 1 space. Again 1 chain and a double crochet. 1 chain and a double crochet. And I continue crocheting this way until the end of this round. Here I am at the end of the round, and I end with 1 chain, and I join with a slip stitch into the third chain of the beginning chain 4. 1, 2, 3, counting from the bottom, like this. And now if I turn my work upside down, I can see what my head begins to look like. Round 8, I start with 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, and again these 3 chains count as my first double crochet. Then into the next chain 1, I make a double crochet. Into the next double crochet, I make a double crochet. Into the next chain 1, I make a double crochet. And I continue crocheting this way until the end of this round, making a double crochet into each double crochet and into each chain 1, all the way around. Here I am at the end of the round, and I join it with a slip stitch into the third chain of the beginning chain 3. And now I simply need to repeat rounds 5 to 8 one more time. So basically it's gonna be this lacy part of the pattern repeated again to make my hat bigger. Here I repeated the rounds 5, 6, 7 and 8. This is what it looks like, and I am at the end of the last round, and I join it with a slip stitch, and now I'm ready to cut off the yarn tail and fasten off. And now I'm going to use a smaller size hook to hide my yarn tail. And I prefer using a smaller size hook because it's more convenient for me, but also so that I don't stretch the stitches. And my newborn hat with lacy design is finished. And this is what it looks like on my cute little doll.